Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you try their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those massive cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best in the business I've ever seen. Probably be the best you've ever had as well. Everything USDA Prime. Not choice, all prime. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com by calling 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. And a big round of applause for everybody tuning in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and our independents from coast to coast. Everybody also watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, Wow Cable. Thanks for joining us. Also in Hotel TV in over 600,000 rooms from coast to coast. Tuning in. And guess what? We have a very special guest. And let's let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Sal, this is Mark Collins, two-time Super Bowl champion of the New York Football Giants. 13-year NFL career, and I'm glad to be on your show.
I always say New York Football Giants, right? Because we don't want to confuse them with other Giants, because there might be some.
Well, the reason they did that, right? Because the San Francisco Giants, before they were San Francisco Giants, were in New York, so they had to make a distinctive name change for one or the other. So the New York Giants added the football Giants instead of the baseball Giants, and that's how they got their name.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't know that, and I'm glad you clarified that because, frankly, they need to know, and I think it's great that you've cleared that up. All right, so listen, welcome to the show. It's always great to have you on, and any of your former New York Football Giants, we've had plenty of them on. And we like having them on because it always sparks a lot of good defensive discussions. And, of course, for me, look, I'm a Bears guy. The Bears stink right now, and that's okay. The world knows it. It's okay. But the first thing that always comes to mind, of course, 85 Bears, 86 Giants. I mean, defense. And then we talk about the Ravens down the road. But there's kind of a different era from the Ravens side. We're talking 15-plus years down the road. Maybe it was a grinding, grueling game, but it seems to me that those mid-'80s teams played a little bit heavier, harder-hitting defense. What do you think?
I concur, but let me back up a little bit. The Bears don't stink. I mean, they're just haven't had a lot of great seasons. But you talk about the '85 Bears. And I can say this because arguably, I played them probably, and it's debatable, but one of the best defenses in the NFL history. We talk about the Ravens. The Ravens, statistically, yes, they're in a conversation with the Bears and the Giants. And the 49ers have some great defenses as well. But I had a conversation with Richard Dent one time in a golf tournament. And we're in this car service, picked us both up. We're going to the hotel. And he had his Bears ring on. I had my Giants ring. And we had a little conversation back and forth about it. And I said, well, team was great. So was ours. But you guys didn't validate that Super Bowl because you didn't win another one, after that. We won another one 3 or 4 years afterwards. So we validated that Super Bowl. The Bears never validated. So I said, Richard, you got to give your ring back. He got mad. But we were just joking. But anyway, they're the great defenses. And the Ravens defense as well. They're great defense. But when you think about it, when you really think about it, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, the Giants defenses back in those days played solid quarterbacks. The Bears defenses played solid quarterbacks. The Ravens defense played guys like Spurgeon, Wynn, and a bunch of backup quarterbacks and knocked them out. And then you're supposed to win those games like that. So statistically, yeah, looks great. But I don't know.
But we're talking devastating defense that would make people. I mean, look from Marshall and Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks and Harry Carson. I mean, all four of those guys, not three, should be in the Hall. Leonard Marshall hopefully will get his run into the Hall as well. But look at the defense from top to bottom. Man, those guys were pretty damn good, even at the corner position, as I understand.
Yeah, we were solid. I mean, we were a solid defense. And, our linebackers get all the glory, which is fine. I never cared about that, neither did Perry Williams, my other side corner. As long as we got wins and got rings out the deal, that's all that counts. So that's how we looked at it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think a lot of the people, when they try to compare this team to that team to whatever team, they seem to forget, look, it's a business. Yeah, it's a different system. This system is good over here. This system's good over here. And Mark, when I think about drafting, and I'd like your opinion on this, when I think about certain teams that will draft the best athlete left on the board, that doesn't mean it's going to be the best fit for the system, now does it?
It doesn't, but what teams usually do, I mean, from what I've seen and what I went through, not just going from, I'll push on that a little later, but when the Giants drafted me and when teams draft a certain player, it's got to fit their system. There's got to be a need for that position. And that corner, linebacker, whoever, whatever position on defense, must fit the mindset of that coordinator. Same on offense. It's the same thing. And now you fast forward it, and the same mindset goes to free agency. You're going to go after a free agent that fits the mentality and mode of your coordinator on offense or defense and the mentality of your team. That's how it usually works. That's how it should work. And we had a situation back before free agency called Plan B, where the teams discarded their worst 7 players of the team. And the other teams pick them up and get more money, which was a debacle. And we got some players from other teams that were making more money than me and other linebackers on our team, but they were backups. So that's a whole other conversation. But they didn't fit our system anyway. But, that's how it worked out.
Well, thinking about financial disparity between how the players are paid, and it could create it could create a little bit of ill will, I guess, if people take it a little bit personal like that, financially that is. Right here, you got a guy being paid $10 million who hasn't contributed to the team, but then you got a guy being paid $1 million that's contributing his ass off on a week-to-week basis, on a practice-to-practice basis on top of it. And how do you get past it as looking up and down your roster? Maybe the guys that have been there for 3, 4, 5 years. Now you get Joe Blow that comes in. He's a new guy, and he's being paid 3 times as much as everybody else, and he's not contributing to the team. And when he has had an opportunity, how do you get past that?
Well, you get past it because the animosity doesn't go towards the player. It never does. It never does. It goes to the organization. It goes to the coach. That's how I know. I went through it 1 year with the Giants. We got a player who came over from Miami. He made more money than me. I'm starting corner of the New York Giants. I got a ring under my belt. I love the guy. I still love the guy. There was no animosity towards him.
Right.
It's towards the organization. Because my thing was, I can't worry about what they're paying him. And a lot of players would say the same thing. I'm not worried about what they pay him. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to get paid and make them pay me even more.
Right. Mark, when I think about the NIL money in college these days, and it's, look, for the regular player that's on a particular team, they say, well, this guy's getting paid this much money. I'm not getting paid any money. Well, look, that's on you. That's on you. Just go out there and do your job. Maybe somebody will throw money at you. I don't know. But a lot of times athletes get caught up with looking around instead of being the person looked at in the first place, working a little bit harder to be looked at or whatnot. And the only way that I see a lot of these players, they will go and make a spectacle of themselves. Maybe they'll score a touchdown or whatever. They're down by 30. Look at me. I'm doing some crazy end zone celebration. It's like, bro, your team is down by 30. What are you doing dancing around in there? Get your ass back in that huddle and let's go. Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement. But one thing about the NIL, and I hope they clean it up a little bit. First of all, everybody thinks the NIL, everybody's in college sports making money. That's not true. You have the Power 5 conferences. especially on the football side, those guys want to make their money. Then you got on the female side of the NIL and NCAA, some of the smaller schools, the student athletes aren't making any money. I got a son in Murray State. He's not making any money. Go ahead, Sal.
Oh, no, I was just letting you know that the segment's going to come to an end in about a minute. So that's why I said 1 minute. No, you're good.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So the NIL, they'll clean it up, but I'm glad that the NCAA has given all these athletes, college athletes, some stipend money so they can live pretty much some spending money outside their scholarship so they can make money. Now, NIL, that's added bonus, but the other stipend money that college athletes get helps them out tremendously because all college players are not making NIL money.
Right. You know, when we come back from break, I want to talk a little bit more about that NIL thing because there is an enormous disparity from school to school to school to conference. So you know that. You come from a smaller school. Hey, listen, I went to a smaller school too, one of them anyway. I went to 2 Power 5 schools on top of that, but it is what it is, man. We're going to be back here with the great Mark Collins, 2-time Super Bowl champion from the New York Football Giants in just a few moments, folks. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
AMP, the multi-format network, is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
You're listening to the Sports Circus, and I'm Mike Golick.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. AAMP TV stands for All Ages Media Programming Television, in case you're keeping score. Folks, this segment brought to you in part by our two-time Super Bowl champion guest. That would be Mark Collins from the New York Football Giants. Mark, how does everybody follow you?
Well, they can follow me, Sal, on Twitter at 25sports, the number 2, FIVE Sports. On Instagram, same thing, the number 2, FIVE Sports. And on Facebook, just Mark Collins.
That's how easy that was, folks. Listen, if you ever want to take a class on how to speak on television or radio, contact that gentleman, Mark Collins. He will school you on how to do this because he's an expert at it, and he's been in the rodeo for a minute. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and our independents from coast to coast, including our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees and, of course, the San Francisco 49ers. And a big welcome to everybody right here in Las Vegas, KJPT Jackpot Radio, and also KVGK 97.9 FM over in Atlanta, WDJY, Auburn, Alabama, home of the Atlanta Braves, WAUD, and a whole bunch, WBGY in Southwest Florida. Folks, we're everywhere. You can't get away from us. Also, welcome back to everybody on Cox Comcast Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, Wow Cable Television, and Hotel TV from coast to coast, as well as the Mars Rover. So anyway, we were talking, Mark, in the last segment. We left off with name, image, and likeness money. For everybody who's been living under a rock, we didn't really see this legalized until just recently. And Mark, what is NIL money in a quick 10-second summary?
Oh, I think it gives players a little money in their pocket, and to take on their own likeness and get money from themselves, other than giving it all to the colleges. Because for years, college universities making tons of money on athletes.
Well, what about the idea back when you were playing way back in the day in the Wayback Time Machine over at Cal State Fullerton? Yes, folks, they did have a football team, and this guy was
a fine academic institution, by the way.
And
just let you know that. Just let you know that's a fine academic institution.
Buddy, I have no qualms about that. That's one of mine, and that's one of mine right there.
Okay, you're bragging now.
Well, come on, man. You got the Super Bowl rings. Show those Super Bowl rings. You got them on you. You don't have them on.
I don't. Well, no.
I know. But you got that big cigar. You got that. You got that thing going, and that substitutes for it right now, if you know what I mean. But anyway, no. The reality is, back when you were playing at Cal State Fullerton, look, there may have been some sparse, whatever, figment of a booster money campaign somewhere. Not like Ohio State that has $120 million recruiting budget. I mean, go back in the day and look, folks, this is a full-time job playing sports, and somehow you got to fit your schoolwork in. What was the workload like for you from workload and school and workload from sports, let alone sleeping and eating?
Oh, I mean, it was tremendous. It was hard. I mean, but as a freshman, when I first went in, it was easy, right? Because, you go in, you're taking 12 semesters at Fullerton. So you go in, you got your practice, it's 2 a days. Back in those days, 2-a-day practices. And then the class starts, and you take 12 units, right? So you 12 units, and we travel for football. It was cool. It was hard, but it was cool. I managed it. And then come the second semester, you got to double up on units. I took, I think, 16 in the off season, so I did that. And then we had spring ball, and I kind of slacked off a little bit because I took it for granted how easy school was that first semester. So the second semester, my grades dropped dramatically. But I got them on course and did okay. So anyway, but it's hard. It was hard once to manage both because you got to go to school and you got to practice. And you better do well at both because back in those days, if you didn't pass classes, they took your scholarship away from you. So now it's a little different now, but the workload has always been hard.
So as you said, they would take your scholarships away. Could you imagine today with the, and I'm going to just come right out and say it, the interference of the NIL money, which comes from the boosters, which was illegal money in the first place back in the day. What a weird world we live in with this, right? Because you couldn't take money from boosters, but now you can, but it has to go through the school, so they get their cut. And then they divide it down amongst the other athletes.
Well, also, Sal, what a player can do is go and negotiate with a local chain of restaurants or fast whatever to be their spokesman for a burger shop in Fullerton or a bar and whatever. They can make money off that as well. I think it's great. It gives a student athlete the opportunity of being a bit of an entrepreneur. Number one. Number two, taking ownership of their own brand. Number three, getting money that they work for by being a spokesman to earn. I think it's great.
You know, I would argue,
been doing it for years.
Mark, I would argue that these student athletes are going to learn a lot more in their own negotiating in business and marketing than they would in some classes in the first place.
Yes.
That's real world. Yes, real world work right there.
The entrepreneurial stuff, that's what I'm saying. They could do it. So why not? I mean, now, look, okay, Sal, when we were in school, we didn't have these major streaming services, right? There's no YouTube.
Correct.
None of that stuff. Now these kids can put their likeness on and blast it out to all over the world, basically, and monetize it. I think it's wonderful.
I think it's wonderful that they actually have control of a lot of their things for their future financial. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they have started families when they're 17, 18 years old. It happens. Life happens. Yeah. And so now they actually have a way to fulfill for the family instead of just doing what they do and then depending on a system to try to feed their families, right? Because, you can't work. But wait a minute. Maybe you couldn't work, but now you have the NIL opportunity. And so I look at it from a different lens and say, okay, great, you're not going to let these kids work, but now they're technically working for themselves. So I wonder if the government would give them a tax break because there's an educational aspect to this. Or do the players, the student athletes, have to start their own foundations? Start their own foundations, have the monies paid to their foundations, and they can be employees of their foundations and paid a reduced rate as a student athlete. There's so many different business ways to look at this. I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of missing the boat of what this is all about.
Yeah, I think those are great options. I think great ideas. I think if I was to I'll tell my sons if they were to get in this kind of stuff, just start an LLC. It's much simpler. Foundations. They really, over the last pretty much 10 years, the government's really cracked down on foundations because they found a lot of scams going on. But just a simple, basic LLC probably works best.
Right. I think a limited liability company in a state tax-free state, for example, like Nevada or Wyoming or Florida or Tennessee, or Maryland, Delaware, they all work. And this is another thing that these student athletes can learn about on the business side. Because let's face it, even if you are a doctor, you still need to know how business works. Because there's still money involved. And a lot of people miss that boat.
They do. And that's something that I'm a communications major. But I also know business. Yeah, you as well, I know. And I also, even in my I think I was maybe 30, 35. I went to Babson College in Boston for business.
Nice.
And just to, you think you know a lot of stuff. So I went there, enrolled, and was there for 2 months, and really opened my mind up on business even more. So I think if these students and athletes would do something like that, get a hold of somebody in business, go do an internship. I don't care where you do. Learn about doing the nuances. One of the things that I hope they learn during this whole process, as the NIL starts to really grab and hold, they need to know about the tax implications of it. That's the big thing about it. Because if you screw that up, that can ruin you for life on back taxes. Because once they got the hooks in you, it's hard to get them off.
Right, especially with the 80-odd thousand new IRS agents that have been implemented or whatever. Look, the reality is what Mark is saying is 100% correct because, folks, if you don't understand tax strategy and you don't understand how to maneuver through the weeds of the IRS, you will be shackled to them potentially for the rest of your life. And here, I'm going to close this segment out with this statement, folks. In case you don't know, just in case you don't know, the reality is the IRS answers to whom? That would be the Federal Trade Commission. If the Federal Trade Commission has a lien on you for anything, it will follow you and every asset you touch for the rest of your life. And if you try to transfer that asset, now the person acquiring the asset has to clear it with the Federal Trade Commission. They have to end up paying the debt. So they're made whole on this. So if you think you can get out of it, you cannot get out of it. I promise you that. Folks, we're going to be back here with Mark Collins, two-time Super Bowl champion from the New York Football Giants, in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I love the fact that they dealt off Ty Montgomery because of a blown assignment. Green Bay isn't Green Bay unless they have a good running game. Then they can win 10 Super Bowls. The fact is, you don't have a running game. You've got 70% passing, and that's not where Aaron Rodgers needs to be. He needs to be in a position where he's got a running game to offset the passing game and so forth. I like the move. Green Bay didn't have a running game anyway, so all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday
night.
He
shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. His own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. He just got selfish. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from the Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Did you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? And that was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby? And let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone. Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that
incredible.
okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible.
Fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid. That's awesome. Yes! Only on the Sports Circus. You're going to get sports. You get music.
Hey everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP TV. This segment brought to you in part by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help them with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at info@calivegas.com. That's INFO at CALI Vegas.com. Yes! All right, welcome back to everybody. You know who you are. TV, radio. We're here with our very special guest. That'd be two-time Super Bowl champion from the New York Football Giants. That'd be Mark Collins. In fact, I believe he was an interception leader also in the college football arena as well, correct?
That is correct. 20 career interceptions at Cal State Fullerton. Ranked number 10, tied for 10 or 11 in interceptions in NCAA history. That is huge to me.
That listen, that's enormous. In fact, we'll even give you a round of applause for that. So, Mark,
thank you.
Absolutely. We've got more of that if you'd like it. Okay, so listen to this. In break, we were talking about this amusement or sports tax, whatnot. So people have asked the question. Now, I just did a quick search on this. It says, owners, managers, operators of amusements, or places where amusements are conducted and ticket resellers shall collect from patrons for witnessing or participating in amusements. It is an astounding, ridiculous, ridiculous 9%. Are you kidding me? How did I find out about this for everybody just tuning in? So on a trip to Chicago, not too terribly long ago, I went to go book a round of golf, me being one of the world's worst golfers, that's okay. And it happened that I said, well, how much are the green fees? So the guy at the golf place told me, and he goes, oh, by the way, there's also a 9% sports tax. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, oh, yeah, here in the city of Chicago and the surrounding area in Cook County, we have to pay this thing. And, of course, my answer to him was, show me the money! Because that's all they care about. Mark, is there a bigger way to disincentivize people from doing healthy things or enjoying their lives?
Well, Sal, as I asked you during the break, who passed that thing? Because you just can't implement a tax without it being on the ballot to vote for it. I'll give you a better story.
Okay.
I'll give you a better story, Sal.
All right.
With the Giants, we play the Eagles in Philly. And we always we take the bus down, go over the Thomas Jefferson Bridge, stay in Philly, play the game, and go back. This particular time, I think it was 1988 or 89, I forget the year. After the game, we go down and play the Eagles. They give us our checks right after the game. So I always get my check. I open to see what I made. So I saw a tax on there. It was an entertainment tax. So I went to Wellington Mara, and I asked him, what is this tax? He didn't know. He did not know. So I guess Philly started having an entertainment tax. They tax you based on the time you spend in the city to the time you leave. We would take a bus to Philly, stay in Philly. It starts there until the game's over. After that happened, every other city started doing that. Now, it's probably that now. Every team does it. From football players, singers, entertainers, whatever. They got to pay an entertainment tax. So in 1989, we played the Eagles. We stayed in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, the night before the game. We got dressed at the state. Well, we got dressed at the stadium. We had our meetings in Jersey. Drove over to the stadium, played for 4 or 5 hours, got back on the bus, went back to Cherry Hill, and back up to East Rutherford. So they taxed us on 5 or 6 hours instead of a day. So back to your point, that entertainment tax, whatever it is, the damnedest thing I've ever heard.
Okay, so now the state of Illinois, in their infinite wisdom, they had this amusement tax. And the amusement tax was adopted by the city to tax excessive amusement at a 4% of gross receipts. Now, why does the city of Chicago have an amusement tax? They say, according to taxpolicycenter.org, a credible source, cities typically levy amusement taxes on big events because they attract a lot of people to the city. While cities love all economic activities the crowd brings, the influx of people also strains city services, and cities want to collect tax revenue beyond their traditional sales tax to cover that inconvenience. What? Is this the biggest crock of crap you've ever heard?
What?
Buddy, 9%. How? Listen, I just want to know, in good conscience, how do they disincentivize people by taking 9% of their money because they're going to go watch something that gives them pleasure?
And benefits the city. So they're just greedy. They're going to get money regardless, just for people being there, staying in the hotels, renting cars, buying food. It helps the local community, restaurants and everything. But that's not enough. We want 9%.
Yeah.
Well, you get it. Isn't this other enough for you? Greedy bastards.
Right. And you wonder why the Bears are moving out of downtown Chicago. Frankly, I don't blame them. They ought to move to Indiana or to Wisconsin or something where it's less corrupt. My home state of Illinois is the most corrupt in all of them. And you know, by the way, in case you don't know, and in case the audience doesn't know, the name Windy City for Chicago is not because the city actually has a lot of wind. No, it's actually because of what? The politicians. That's why the name Windy City was actually devised. That's how it was formed, in case you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
There you go. I mean, yeah, it is a little breezy.
Sal, this is a very informative show.
I'm telling you. Make sure you tell your friends and family. Join the Sports Circus. Listen, we're a circus and we prove it every day. We don't edit the content. It is what it is. We don't prepare. We just have a conversation. You got Mark over here, two-time Super Bowl champion. He's blowing on his cigar over there, having a good old time. And you know what? Life is great because we get to talk about stuff that other people are too damn scared to talk about. Oh, because they're going to lose sponsorships and all this other BS. Is that a fair statement?
That is fair, and I concur.
Yes, I concur. Kind of like that movie, Catch Me If You Can, when Leo DiCaprio was a doctor. Do you concur? Yes, I concur. You know, that kind of thing. But nonetheless, I think where the cities are going wrong with this and where the states are going wrong, they're trying to collect on what everybody is doing out there. Instead of live and let live, they're politicizing everything and saying, well, you can't do this without paying here and there. And that, in my opinion, is counterintuitive to what humans do in the first place.
It is, but, you know, just let's talk about marijuana, right? At some point, I knew it was going to be legal. Once the cities and the governments and states find a way to tax it, you knew it was going to happen. Same thing in sports. They can implement all kind of taxes. They tax the tickets prices to the hilt. They tax rental cars to the hilt. How else can we make more money? Let's conjure up a entertainment tax. Oh, let's do that, because before that became a consumption tax. You buy beer, you buy bottled water, you pay a consumption tax on that. So what the hell is that all about? Just weird stuff.
It's stupid.
I'm one of those, Sal. I'm one of those guys. I do the deep dive. I like to read stuff and trying to figure why is it that this is happening. That's me, though.
Buddy,
go ahead.
I got to tell you, man, I'm the same way in our last minute of the segment or so. I feel the same way because, look, stop trying to rip everybody off. Let people go about their business. How do you expect to have healthy people? Oh, that's right. They don't want healthy people. They want them in the hospital so they can make money off of meds and all this other garbage. Let's see how many ways that we can make money off of every individual. Let's keep them unhealthy. Let's not get them exercising. Let's sit them in front of a TV so all they do is what? Well, hopefully they'll watch the Sports Circus, if you know what I mean, right? But more importantly, let's get them watching TV and not exercising so they become dependent on our medical system and take the pills that we're taxing the daylights out of and everything else.
Yeah.
That is so ass backwards. I have to say that is now the American way as it stands. And I hate the fact that it's that way, but it's just the way it goes. Take 10 seconds, talk about that. Let's go to break.
I don't want to make this show another show. We got to segue back to sports in some element, and I got the perfect topic when we come back.
Oh. Can you give me a preview?
Basketball.
Oh, okay. We could talk baskets. We could talk and we're going to leave it right there because I will go during the break and ask you a couple questions. Everybody, listen, if you're streaming right now, for all our friends and family and whatnot, stick around and you might get a preview of what's coming up in the next segment right here on the Sports Circus. Back here with two-time Super Bowl champion, that would be Mark Collins from the New York Football Giants. Back in a few.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-476-6087. 800-476-6087. 800-476-6087.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more.
800-957-6209. 800-957-6209. 800-957-6209. That's 800-957-6209.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-296-1209. 800-296-1209. That's 800-296-1209.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. That's 800-298-3173.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP TV. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows, which are a podcast. No, we don't do a podcast. We happen to have podcast platforms that we actually air our full content on. So we don't fix it in the mix or any crap like that. It is what it is. Make sure you check out thesportscircus.com also for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, and also go to our partners page and check out some of those partners. One of those is the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events, csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Yes! An astounding round of applause for them. They've been with us since the very beginning. We want to wish also their former athletic director, Mr. Dexter Irvin, a happy and healthy retirement as they bring in the new regime. Great people, a great outfit over there. And when next time you're in the Vegas Valley, make sure you check out the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Great facilities, great volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, women's softball. I want to talk about women's softball here with the great Mark Collins, two-time Super Bowl champion from the New York Football Giants. Mark, what do you like about women's softball?
I enjoy the excitement. I mean, when I was at Fullerton, we had a great softball team as well. So I played a little baseball at Fullerton. Some of my friends played softball. So in jest, I tried to hit a softball because I was a baseball player. I couldn't touch it. They make that ball move so just ridiculous. And I was a pretty decent baseball player, I like to think. But it was awesome. One thing I do not like, you know softball. Why in women's softball, they don't alleviate the 4-pitch walk? In women's softball, instead of intentional walking, they got to pitch 4 pitches. And they shouldn't do that. Because in baseball, they don't. In men's baseball, they don't. But in women's softball, they do. And I think it's crock of crap because, you want to save arms in men's baseball, but women's arms not important? I hate that. I just hate it. But that's, all right. That's one thing I hate.
All right, hold that thought because I'm going to give you what it looks like from the pitcher side of it. I'm a former pitcher, and I can tell you this much. They should never allow the intentional pass in baseball to go without pitches. Do you know how hard it is to throw half speed when you're on the hill? Hold the phone because it don't take a lot of effort. It's hard to really dial it down, right, and throw out of the strike zone when you're so locked in on throwing that ball over the plate at a high rate of speed. Buddy, that is very difficult. They should never allow, okay, you want to go to first, go to first. You should have to go through the motions because that pitcher, in many cases in baseball, they'll throw the ball over the catcher's head or off to the left or right, and chaos ensues. They should absolutely execute on those without question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The women should have the same rules as the men because I'm talking about saving arms, right? I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about saving arms because in pro baseball, in college men's baseball, the intentional walk, they get the walk without throwing a pitch. They should have the same for the women.
Saving arms. Well, look, you're a former baseball player, yeah? So think about the idea. Now, I know before I would, as a starting pitcher, I would throw the ball literally 100 times before the game even starts, right? I got long toss, short toss, bullpen session. I got all that crap, right? But the reality is those 4 pitches, and you're not going to intentionally walk people 5, 6, 7 times during the game anyway. 4 pitches is not going to end the world. So I think they absolutely should throw that ball to the catcher because they're throwing it at half speed and they're just basically lobbing the ball in.
Okay, Sal.
Come on, man.
We're not going to agree, but it's like having a car, right? A vintage car. You want the least miles driven in that car, right? So let's say, you want to show your car if you want to drive it down the street, and it's a mile. It's a vintage car. So would you drive that mile every day, or would you walk it to go get what you need? Save the car, save an arm. It's the same thing. You want to protect your pitcher. That's how I look at it. Now, in those 4 or 8 pitches, intentional walks, let's say throwing something just snaps in between those intentional pitches, those walks in softball. Yes, it can happen in the fast pitch. Yes, I get it. But why risk it? Why? Put the lady on base. And then start fresh, go fast again. That's how I see it.
How do you feel about pitch clocks?
And you, sir?
How do you feel about pitch clocks?
I honestly, I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
Okay. How do you feel about bigger bases?
I like it. Have you been stepped on by have you been cleaned before by somebody? It hurts. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know that one. How do you feel about a guy on second starting the 10th inning?
Starting 10th inning on what?
Extra inning baseball game, Major League Baseball, they'll start a guy on second base. The guy who made the last out is the runner at second base to start the 10th inning.
Oh, they're trying to expedite the game.
How do you feel about it?
I don't like it much. That's too much of a change for me. So I don't like it that much.
Mark, how do you feel about netting around the entire lower bowl at a baseball game?
In the outfield?
Nope, in the lower bowl from foul pole to foul pole in foul territory.
I don't like that either.
Okay. Why am I asking you these questions? Because number one, look, I don't like change in baseball. Growing up playing baseball, we went to the ball game to go watch the ball game. We didn't go there to take selfies and crap like that. Oh, hey, I'm here at the game. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I don't give a damn about that. You know what I care about? I care about the ball game. Folks, if you're going to go to a game, go to the game. If you go to a football game and you've got the superstar here on the field, here's Mark. He's doing his thing. He's picking people off. He's knocking people down. His team's winning Super Bowls. You don't want to have people look in the crowd there and they're busy looking at their phone doing this garbage. No, you want them watching the game because that's what they're there for, right?
But Sal,
come on, be at the game.
Sal, no, Sal. Believe it or not, sometimes change is good. It is. Sometimes it's good.
If I need change for $1, it's good.
Sal, come on, man. In some elements of all sports, change is good. For instance, in football, I love the 2-point play.
Yeah.
In pro ball. I think it's great.
I like it too.
The one I like even more, and it's coming, believe it or not. You mark my words. I think it was the XFL. They got a 3-point play if you back it up to the 25-yard line. You ever see that?
No.
So, you have three options. You could kick the field goal from 5 yards. You could go for 2 on the 10-yard line, or you go for 3 points, I think, on the 20, 25-yard line. I think it's awesome. What that does, it gives every team a legitimate shot to win in the end.
Okay, I love that. I absolutely love that. You know what I want to see in basketball? I want to see a 4-point shot from half court.
Okay. And what is that called, Sal? Change.
Right.
Sometimes change is good.
Hey, you're right, but that's a very 50,000-foot view. Come on, man. What I'm talking about is traditional things at ball games, but now changing certain rules for certain things. I mean, look, basketball, everybody can slam dunk the ball. Raise it to 10 feet. I don't give a damn. Make it harder to dunk the ball. Hey, do something. It's too easy to score. Right? In today's time, they don't even play any defense. Not like back in the 80s, 90s, whatever, where it was a lot harder. Hand checking. It's a very different game. We talked about that for a little bit. Look, we've got a few minutes left in the segment, but I want to ask your opinion on basketball and why certain things happen now as they didn't. Remember, you mentioned something about a center. Why is this guy the best center or not the best center? Pick that up.
Well, a lot of my friends were talking about Jokic and how good he was, the best center in the game ever. I'm like, wait a minute, man. You guys just hit the here and now over the last maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years. Great player, don't get me wrong. But, man, back in my day, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, a lot of great centers. Bill Russell. These guys, Will Chamberlain, These guys are awesome. Jokic is a great player. Don't get me wrong. He has a long way to go. I mean, long way to go.
That dude, he would get used by every one of those guys that you mentioned, plus Shaquille O'Neal. Can you imagine Shaq bodying him up?
Oh, God. It's amazing how some people just focus on the here and now. We talk about, the Jordan-LeBron debate. Man, look, I think if you get that level and do what you did for over 10 years at a consistent level, you're great to me. And LeBron's been doing this, 20th year, whatever it is. Michael Jordan has his stats speak for themselves. To me, the greatest basketball player that I've seen in my lifetime, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Couldn't stop the sky hook. Nobody could stop the sky hook.
No. And he didn't have a three-point shot either, right?
Didn't need it. That guy could touch the ball and score at will. Wilt Chamberlain was the same thing. There are different players, great players at different levels, at different positions in the game. Maybe the best two guard in the game was Jordan. Maybe the best point guard in the game was Magic Johnson. I don't know. It's not up to me to decide. But I'll tell you what, Mark, we've got a minute left here. I want you to tell everybody how they could follow you. We want to bring you back. Hopefully you'll come back. But tell everybody how they could follow you and so forth.
Sure, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at 25sports, number 2, FIVE Sports. On Facebook, Mark Collins. On LinkedIn, Mark Collins. My company, 25 Sports, where we help student athletes gain sports scholarships, give them the digital profiles that send to colleges that fit the players' criteria instead of waiting for a school to look at them, male and female sports. That is 25sports.com. And, I would love to come back. I like chopping it up like this.
I live for this stuff. I've been doing it for a minute, but I mean, it's not what I planned on doing. But guess what? I'm doing it anyway, and I'll just keep drinking that damn Kool-Aid because at the end of the day, it's fun. And I don't care about what we go over. Let's just go over. Let's chop it up. Let's have some fun because I'm not worried about losing a sponsor. Who gives a damn? Let's give people what they really should be hearing, and that is real information. Not, this is what the sponsor wants us to say. I don't give a damn about that. Well, guess what, Mark? It's been a pleasure having you on, and we'll certainly do this again. And, well, shoot, everybody else, we'll see you in about 23 hours right here on your favorite station. So until then, so long, everyone.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.